what? Today we're on a mission to save some butterflies. If you're new here, my name is Chantel, and today we are going to be planting some butterfly seeds. Even though we are approaching the winter by the hour, it is still time to plant some butterfly seeds for the butterflies for next season. If you have ever seen anyone or you yourself have winter sowed grass or clover or anything of the type in your lawn to have it come up the next season, this method is basically the same thing. I have this huge hill over here, and right beside it, over there, is the butterfly garden, the plant butterfly garden. That's the butterfly garden where I decide what to plant in it, and I plant things from seed, and I plant them in there. It's still a work in progress because this year I wasn't able to work on it like I wanted to. The grass kind of overtook it, and I had a foot injury, so I wasn't able to take care of that. So I still have to have some grass that I need to remove out of there and kind of expand it a little bit and make it more visually appealing. So the plan is to sprinkle these seeds on the hill right beside it. And I will be leaving a small path between the plant butterfly garden and the grass, so where I'm going to be seeding these butterfly seeds, so that if we want to go down this way, we can, and also if the kids are sledding, which they will be sledding between both butterfly gardens, so they won't be dislodging any seeds or anything like that, which, I mean, they're not going to because there's going to be snow on top. So basically, in the process of winter sowing, let me see if I can find a better lighting. So basically in the process of winter sowing, what happens is the cycle of freeze-thaw drives the seeds down into the ground slowly. You don't have to sprinkle any dirt over them to have them sprout, because the natural freeze and thaw cycle is going to drive the seeds into the ground. I did that the past year in the front yard with some grass. I overseeded the grass, and there was the evidence that this method has worked, because the grass is now a lot thicker, and also the spot where it was bare of grass, I seeded in there, and it also worked. I just sprinkled it over the surface of the soil. I didn't add anything to it. So this is what I'm going to be doing with these seeds over here. Now, some of these seeds are large, so I'm not 100% confident that this method will work for all the seeds, but I'm going to do it anyways, because the plan originally was to plant these seeds between us and the neighbors on the strip that we have in between us, but I wasn't able to finish the project on time because I still have a lot of weeds that I need to pull out. I have made a video on that a few months ago, and I'll put a clip over here for you to see kind of what that looks like. There's also a weed blocking mat in there under everything, and over the weed blocking mat there is tons of gravel. So what I need to do also after weeding is remove all the gravel and remove the mat so that I can sprinkle these seeds. So this wasn't going to be a permanent solution for that area, but I thought in the meantime, while I can't plant anything in there, I can clean it up and plant butterfly seeds in there so that it would look beautiful and would be beneficial, and then it would be enjoyable for the both of us, for our family and for our neighbors, so that we can enjoy the sights of the flowers and the butterflies and the hummingbirds, because this mix that I have right here is both a butterfly and hummingbird mix, and this is what I want to attract here. And one of the I love seeing butterflies, but I also think that our butterflies are in danger, especially the monarchs, and because everyone has lawns and the fields are not as they used to be. Now, granted, we are in New Hampshire, so if you leave your lawn, it's going to end up being woods, turning into woods, but other areas of the states, people who do have lawns, and are able to let their lawns grow and have flowers in it, they naturally don't do that because they want a nice, beautiful lawn. And you know, I'm not against that. I do like a nice lawn, but I also want to help the butterflies. So I'm not going to be planting all this in our lawn, but I want to dedicate specific spaces for them so that they can have food and multiply. When I was thinking about doing this, I originally thought that I would plant it in the front yard, but I couldn't find a place or a way to plant the butterfly flowers where it would look beautiful and also be able to mow the lawn around it and have it still look nice. I wasn't sure how I would do that, and I would maybe like have to create some sort of an island in the lawn so that maybe that would look more beautiful and more organized, because if I just sprinkle it over the lawn randomly, we won't be able to have a nice lawn in the front of our house, and it would have to, because we would have to let it grow, and eventually we would have to mow it like maybe once in the season or maybe twice depending on how the flowers are doing, because you do have to deadhead them. So what I was thinking is maybe when it's time to deadhead, I would just give it a quick mow on the highest setting, and then they would flush back again and rebloom. That is the plan. But maybe that's a bad idea, because if there are things that the butterflies are feeding on, I would be taking their eggs off and they would drop on the ground. So maybe that's not a good idea. So maybe I'll just mow it at the end of the season instead. This way the butterflies would have hatched and continued to go on with life. Now there are certain types of butterflies that take about, I think, 6 months to hatch, like the black swallowtail. I could be wrong on that, I'm not sure, but I'm just going to mow it by the end of the season. I have this spreader over here that I was thinking I would use, but I don't think so, because I don't think it would spread the way how I would want it to, because to let all the seeds out I would have to open that slot all the way, and you have the settings over here, so I would have to set it on the widest setting, and I don't think I want to do that, because then I wouldn't have a kind of a natural field of flowers over here. So instead what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these seeds with my hand and kind of just spread them over the hill and hope for the best. It's pretty windy, so maybe some of them are going to fly farther than I would want them to, but that's okay. If you guys are new here and you like these types of videos, hit the subscribe button and the bell to receive notifications whenever I upload new videos. So let's go ahead and sow these butterfly seeds. My hair keeps getting messy because of the wind. I hope you guys don't mind. I do, but it's okay. Before I start, I wanted to kind of show you what the mix looks like. It looks like there's some sort of material that is with the seeds to kind of cover the seeds up. So maybe that would help some of the bigger seeds. I don't know, but let's go ahead. So now we pray and hope for the best. So it said it covers 1,200 square feet, and there are 50,000 seeds in here. I sprinkled it pretty heavily because I'm not confident that all of them are going to sprout. And even if they do, I think it would look very beautiful with a thick cover of flowers, and this would also make it less likely that other weeds would sprout. Especially we have a lot of bittersweet vine over here, and what else do we have? And we have thorn bushes and also barberries that are pretty invasive in this region over here where we are. And so I don't want any of these sprouting in the grass, and not mowing the lawn for a long period of time means that these things would overtake this area. And also we have a lot of trees that just kind of pop up everywhere. So by having the seeds kind of pretty close together, that increases the chance of a lot more plants sprouting, and also it decreases the chance of other unwanted plants from sprouting. That's the hope, at least. So now our temperatures are fluctuating between the 50s and 30s during the day, and between the 20s and low teens at night. So we are having frosts, a lot of hard frosts every night, except for a few nights this week. It rained for 2 days in a row, so that was kind of in the 50s. Today it's in the upper 40s, and it's pretty nice, but it's very windy. My hands are freezing because of the wind. So that should stop any flowers from sprouting right now. Anyways, they can't because they need to be in the soil, and I'm hoping that they would this freeze-thaw cycle that we have every night would kind of drive them in there, and also when we get snow, it's going to compact the seeds down into the ground and help with that, with those seeds getting planted in the ground. Hopefully no birds will use the seeds. I'm not sure exactly what time these plants will sprout. Some of them might sprout in the spring, some in the summer, some in the fall, but I'm hoping that we have a variety of flowers throughout the season. And like I said earlier, I would be mowing the lawn over here on this side of the hill where the flowers would sprout by the end of the season. So once we start having frost, that's when I would mow the lawn. Probably when we have a hard frost. So let me read to you some of the plants that are mentioned on this bag over here, so that if you are interested in doing the same thing that I'm doing, in winter sowing some butterfly seeds for your butterflies so that it would come up in the spring and summer, you can kind of know what plants to get, what seeds to get, or what plants to buy if you want to plant them directly from plants. I have the dust of this that's in this bag got all over me, all over my coat, all over my hands, and everywhere, and it doesn't smell that nice either. Annual Gypsophilia elegans, Calendula officinalis, Centaurea cyanus, Asclepias tuberosa, okay, these are hard names. Coreopsis tinctoria, Cosmos bipinatus. Okay, some type of cosmos. So cosmos digitalis purpia. Is that a type of petunia? Maybe. I could be wrong. Okay, this name is hard. Eschscholzia californica. I'm guessing this is maybe some poppies. Gaillardia aristata, Helenithus annuus, Lobularia maritima. So I don't know if you guys can recognize any of these names. Lupinus perennius, so that's a perennial lupin. Rudbeckia hirta, type of Rudbeckia. Salvia coccinea, I don't know what that is. Tagetis erecta? I don't know. Trifolium incarnatum. Tropelium majus, and Zinnia elegans. If any of you know any of these Latin names, if I even pronounce them correctly, please put the list of the flowers and the common names in the description, in the comment section below, so that others who want to plant for their butterflies and hummingbirds would be able to kind of recognize what these things are. The picture says they look like this. Now naturally I don't go for red flowers or like a deep yellow flower, but I think butterflies and hummingbirds like these types of flowers, and that's why I'm planting them, so I will have to endure. Here, I'll give you a kind of a close-up of what the bag shows. Maybe this way you can kind of see the flowers and recognize them. I don't know, I'm guessing these are the flowers that are in the bag. Right now what I'm going to do is grab some fertilizer it over the area where I sprinkled the seeds, in hopes that if any of these seeds decided to sprout in the next season, they would have fertilizer. With the competition of the grass that these flowers are going to have, they're going to need some boost of energy. So I will give them some fertilizer so that they would grow a little bit tall, and we'll be able to see them from a distance from the house. And when we come here, we can enjoy them, and the grass wouldn't just kind of cover them up. I'm hoping that that's what would happen. The grass will definitely take some of the nutrients, of course, but I'm hoping that the plants would also take some nutrients as well. So I might sprinkle some more fertilizer in the season just to kind of have them continue to bloom and grow, because a lot of these are annuals, and annuals require a lot more fertilizer and a lot more care than perennial plants do. Some of them are perennials. For those that are perennials, I will probably leave them in the hill, because eventually the plan is to turn all this into a butterfly garden, or I might dig them out of there and put them in the in the plant butterfly garden, so that I won't have to buy plants for this the plant butterfly garden area. I did purchase some seeds for that area, like some butterfly weed flower, and I think that is its name. I keep forgetting its name. I couldn't find any that are yellow, because I don't want orange, but I could only find orange, so I just went with that, because that's the flower that the monarchs feed on, and they need the caterpillars feed on that flower, so that they can develop into a chrysalis and turn into a butterfly, and that's the goal. So I don't want to just give them flowers that they can take nectar from, but I also want to provide the butterflies with some source of food, so that they can, for the caterpillars, so that they can develop into chrysalis, I don't know what's the plural of that, and turn into butterflies. So that's the goal. And of course, I want hummingbirds in here, so that's the mix that brings hummingbirds. I will have to buy some seeds or plants that the hummingbirds love and plant them in the plant butterfly garden. I'm guessing that a lot of the plants that the butterflies like, the hummingbirds also like, but I will have to do some more research to figure that out and decide what plants I should plant in here. Now, I know hummingbirds love red, but I also noticed that hummingbirds come in the garden to on flowers that are not red. Like, for example, they love the weigela that I have in the front in the flower bed that's under our window, and eventually that weigela is going to be taken out, and I have a whole plan for that area. I actually yesterday sat down and kind of drew out a plan for the area, and I think it's going to look absolutely beautiful, but it's going to take me several seasons to accomplish that plan. So anyways, back to this. I also purchased some green twister echinacea. I wanted those originally in the front for the entryway to our driveway, and I will plant some of those for that area, because I think they would look very beautiful with Russian sage, and I decided that I would also plant some over here, because the color of that flower is just beautiful, and echinaceas are also a great source for butterflies, and I think hummingbirds too, but I'm not sure. I also did buy a lot of annual flower seeds, like status and some other flowers, calendula, other types of these flowers that I would probably be planting in the new flower bed that's facing the butterfly garden, and also in the butterfly garden, the plant butterfly garden, and I'm going to call them plant butterfly garden and the wild butterfly garden because it is kind of wild over here. So let's go ahead and grab the fertilizer and sprinkle it over this area. I'm going to set it at 3.5. And see if that works. If it doesn't, I'll have to widen the opening a little bit so that the fertilizer can get through easily. I don't want it to sprinkle too much, that's why I kind of have it on a smaller setting, on the lower setting, because I just want a little bit of fertilizer in there. I don't want to overdo it, and I have a lot of space to fertilize, and I do need fertilizer for other plants, like my other vegetables and flowers that I will be planting next season. And fertilizer is now pretty expensive, so I kind of want to save up a little bit on it. So hopefully that would make do. still have some fertilizer in here. I'll have to empty it and put it in the bag. I had to adjust the setting quite a few times, so you saw me kind of go up and down the hill several times, because the first time it wasn't, I actually set it backwards. Chickens are fighting. Backwards instead of forwards. So what that means is I set it at 2.5 instead of 3.5. Oops. And I was thinking nothing is coming out of this spreader, so I adjusted it to 3.5. It was still coming out very dusty, and very little of the big chunks were coming out. So I eventually put it at 5.5, and that seemed to do the trick. And I just had to go up and down several times, and I feel like I just kind of ran a marathon on this hill. So this wilderness of butterfly garden is now set for the next season, and once I start seeing any blooms or anything sprouting, I'll just bring you guys along to see the progress of